Hello, welcome to Fraser and Friends. Today I'm at the Yorkshire Wildlife Park, where I'm hoping to encounter a range of wild animals, including Vic Bearcroft. And I'm told he's here already doing some work, so I'm going to go and see if I can find him and see what he's got in store for me today. Hello, hello.
Hi, Fraser.
Good morning. You okay?
Very well, thanks. How are you?
Excellent. Very well, very well. Caught you in the act of sketching.
Yeah, you have.
Sketching what? I can't quite see at the moment.
Well, he's just gone into hiding over there. It's my namesake, Victor the polar bear.
Victor the polar bear.
Yeah. So I've just managed to get a few little quick sketches of him before he disappeared with his breakfast,
Yep.
his late breakfast, I suppose. Yeah, because this is currently the only polar bear in England, it's good. It's quite a big deal.
Yeah, sure.
Someone here, we have Cheryl, who can tell us a little bit more about it. She's more knowledgeable than I
Hi,
am.
nice to meet you.
Nice to see
Fraser.
you. Hi,
Hi, Cheryl.
Yeah, it's starting to look like Victor already.
Oh, brilliant. He's captured the character.
The bear, not me.
Exactly. Both, yes.
So can you tell us a bit about what you've done here and how you've come to have Victor here?
Yeah, I mean, Victor is the first of the polar bears that we're going to have here. What we're creating here at Project Polar, and you'll see we've got the reserve there, we've got another one we're building just behind. It'll be about 10 acres of polar bear centre. It'll be the biggest conservation project for polar bears outside of Canada, so it's absolutely massive. So what we've tried to do here is recreate what the Arctic looks like in summer. A lot of people, first thing they say is, well, where's the snow, where's the ice? But actually, polar bears are really only on snow and ice for about 3 or 4 months of the year. Okay. They're flexible and adaptable, but sort of they do need definite seasons, and they'll get that here. Yeah. He's only been here 3 weeks, but the second day he was here, we were able to let him out into the reserve. Great. Because he literally came off the lorry, ate a bucket of fish, and was like, okay, what next?
Home. Yeah. And you're planning to introduce more bears. How do you broach that when you introduce them to Victor?
We will have the 4 different reserves. So some bears might choose to be individual, they might not want to be mixed with others, they're all different characters. We're due to get another 2 bears shortly who are currently living together. So
when are you getting the 2 new arrivals then?
We are going to get them before the end of the year.
Something to look forward to.
Yeah.
A reason to come back.
Yes, exactly. I've just got to take this call. I will catch up with you later.
Okay, thank you very much.
Cheers.
Well, I think you've got something in store for us later, don't you? We're going to go somewhere and do some work.
We are indeed.
But before that, I'd better find out a bit more about you, Vic, I think.
All right.
Got a nice array here on the African plains, haven't we?
Yes, indeed.
All basking in the sun together. So people who know you and know your work will know that you are predominantly known for wildlife. It's easy to sort of pigeonhole artists, but would you say that's fair? You know, that is kind of...
I think that's a fair comment. And to be honest with you, I don't mind being pigeonholed as a wildlife artist. I think there are worse things to be called. Occasional portraits as well, but I don't find human portraiture quite as exciting as painting and drawing animals.
How long have you been painting and drawing? I mean, the usual answer is from an early age, and I'm sure that's exactly the same with you, but how long has it been what you do for a living?
As a living, for a lot of years, part-time included, probably since the late 70s, I guess. As a full-time, probably again about 12, 13 years now, I think.
Yeah. Why animals in general?
I guess from a very early age when we lived in Kenya, it probably all stemmed from there. Even maybe the drawing animals. We used to probably go to the NAFI at the RAF camp at the end of the day and
so you had presumably parents based there?
Yeah, my dad was in the RAF. From early on, I can remember drawing animals with crayons on bits of paper. Yeah. I can remember my grandma having animal prints and animal statues, which I used to copy at her house. Yeah. From an earliest memory, all I can remember wanting to draw were animals. Horses, elephants, sharks, even dinosaurs.
And getting your source material and finding new inspiration is something you kind of have to maybe travel to do or seek out or find places such as this where you can go and work from the animals in the flesh.
Source material you can find anywhere at home, going to a zoo, a wonderful park like this, or animal sanctuaries where you can get really close. Inspiration, of course, is another thing entirely. I draw inspiration Not just from being around the animals, but from childhood memories of reading the Jungle books and other such things, wonderful illustrated books. If you have inspirations outside of just animals or just painting, I think you can end up being a little bit more creative with what you do. I think people often forget they've got all this history behind them, they've got all these memories, and they don't use them enough. It's a digital age that we live in, and things are very easy to digitalise. Take your pictures with your digital camera, load them on your computer.
Absolutely.
We tend to forget about the fact that wildlife artists, up until fairly recently, didn't have these things. They used to go out into the field in Africa and things like that. They used to sketch, sketch, until it was burned in their memory. From my point of view, wildlife art is the original art form. If you look at the caves in Lascaux in France, for example, 30,000 years ago, they were painting wildlife on the walls in the caves that still exist. Using fundamental pigments and bits of burnt stick, which we now know as charcoal, of course. So it's well documented that wildlife art is probably the original art form.
That's a fairly good answer to any sceptics, isn't it?
Indeed. Okay, well, I guess now's about as good a time to go over and see the lions. And
lions.
Okay. Well, maybe not throw you in this time, Fraser, but let's see if we can do some serious sketching. Eh?
Okay, that sounds good to me.
Okay.
Okay, so these are the lions themselves.
Yeah. Well, what I think we should do is just do some quick sketches here, then maybe find a nice quiet place to sit and work it up with the ink pens. What do you think?
Yeah, that sounds good. So obviously we're going to be dealing with moving targets here, Vic. So how do you cope with that? You must experience it a lot when you're working from wild animals.
That's true, but generally speaking, lions can be quite cooperative because they tend to spend a lot of time lying around. The best advice really is to get what you can, even if it's only 4 or 5 seconds worth. Let it move off, go to something else. If it comes back to a similar position, go back to your original sketch. There's always something you can find to do, even if it's a little bit of the landscape while they go wandering off.
So we've got to capture some of these guys moving around then while
Sure. If we're going to do a decent ink sketch at the end of the day, we need to capture something, don't we?
Right.
So let's give it a go.
Quick sketches of these guys while they're in position.
So Fraser, are you feeling inspired yet?
I am, yeah. It's fantastic. It's an unusual experience. It's difficult sort of trying to envisage when the line's going to move or change. You it forces you to sort of be on your toes, doesn't it?
This is where your observation comes in, because it forces you to look and try to remember what was happening 2 or 3 minutes ago. And then you can draw on that memory if the lion's changed position to fill in the gap, so to speak. It always makes me think about Aslan in the Chronicles of Narnia, where I'm sketching male lions, try and get that feeling of the powerfulness.
It's the mane and the sort of the bulk of them, isn't it? They really have this presence.
I think it helps as well if you draw on memories like that, because if you can pull that kind of feeling into the sketch of your male lion, you're going to get that power coming through. Otherwise you might end up with a wimpy little lion.
No, you don't want wimpy lions, do you? And I see you've been working a bit on the sort of background information as well, not just the lion. You've been
I made a few sketches of the trees and surrounding areas and the rocks. I do like the idea of the waterfall there and the height that it gives. So I'm going to try and incorporate those rocks and the waterfall into my ink sketch, which we'll do later on. That's my plan. What's yours?
I don't know if I've got a plan at the minute, Vic. I've no idea. I'm just embracing everything as it comes.
Okay.
If I can come away with a few sketches that have really captured the kind of essence of the lines, I think I'll be happy, and some of that physicality.
Indeed.
I'll be pleased.
That's about as much as you can hope for, is just to capture a line here or there, a shape here and there. Get what you can while you can. At some point he's going to get up and move away. If that happens, focus your attention somewhere else, and maybe a bit of a tree or some foliage somewhere. Okay, well I think I've got my sketch worked up, ready to go. How about you?
Yeah, I think I've got enough. I've enjoyed sort of standing here and just watching, really, more than anything, and
Do you think you've got enough in there to be able to go away and sit down somewhere and do a little ink illustration?
I think so. I think we could definitely work from what I've got so far.
Good. Shall we give it a go?
Yeah, let's.
Okay.
Okay, Vic, so here we are. I think you said you were going to work over your sketch.
Yeah, well, I'm quite happy with the sketch the way it is, so I'm just going to work directly over that with the ink. Trying to remember some of the details that might not be in here, and then gradually get rid of the pencil as we go and see what happens.
Yeah. So having that pencil there just as a guide is enough for you to be able to progress from there.
Sure.
Super.
Yeah. And I just play with it and see what happens. I treat it very much like a doodling process, you know.
Yeah.
How about you?
Well, I think I'm quite happy. I've got a few little compositional notes down, so I'm going to sort of maybe transfer these onto a larger sheet, see if I can sort of think in terms of an overall composition, a bit in the way that you have there, sort of composed an image. I'd quite like to do that.
Okay, we'll make a start then.
So how's yours looking then? So you're sort of working across the whole image at the moment, rather than any one particular spot?
Correct. Then get rid of the pencil, erase that, and then just concentrate with the fine ink pen on getting some more delicate shading and scribbling going on.
Absolutely. We like a bit of scribbling.
Oh, I love a bit of scribbling.
Well, I don't know about you, I'm getting a bit warm here. It's quite tropical, so I think if we go in search of refreshment...
I suppose at this point a cold beer is out of the question.
I think so. You can't mix beer and lions, Vic. You should know that.
Yeah, it's top tip.
Not a safe mix. So join us in part 2 when we'll be back fully refreshed and finishing off these illustrative drawings.